Hi guys, today we will talk about DOS protection profile in Palo Alto. I will show you here what we are going to do today. So this is our DOS protection profile. We will apply this DOS protection profile and we will see whether this is able to protect our network or not. So I was watching so many videos in the YouTube to search that whether this practical has been shown or not, but everyone has explained what is DOS protection, these features. So for features related you can just see other videos. I am creating video just to show you the practical how it is working, whether Palo Alto is able to block that or not. So let's start. So suppose there is a one client and one server and we have placed our firewall in between. Now there is one attacker, and what attacker will do, he will just monitor the ports, what ports are open in this server. He will just scan the ports. Let me take the pointer. So he will just install a kind of software. So I have installed a Nmap software here. So what the client or attacker, I can say, will do, he will run his tool, and his tool will go directly from here firewall, and it will cross from the firewall and it will go to the server, and it will fetch all the information like which ports are open, what is the operating system that server is running. So with the help of that he will publish the attack on the open ports. Okay, after that he will send a SYN packet, and that SYN packet will go to the firewall. Firewall will allocate session to that SYN, and it will do the NAT, that is called destination NAT, and it will forward the SYN to our server. Now server will send the SYNAC request, because server is thinking that this is a legitimate request, so it is expected, and we have created a policy from WAN to DMZ which is saying that anybody from the WAN can come and access this server. So it is allowed, it is expected that whenever the SYN packet will come, our server will send the SYNAC. Alright, the firewall's work is only to allocate a session for that. It can monitor the session, it can do a stateful inspection, and it can do the netting and forward the SYN. Alright, now let's take another scenario. Now what attacker is doing, attacker is sending multiple SYN packets, and our firewall is allocating these sessions, and the server is sending the SYNAC. Alright, it is sending again so many SYN packets, and firewall is allocating the sessions, and server is sending the SYNAC. But what is happening here, this is not replying back to the acknowledgement. Like in three-way handshake, if you remember, there is a SYN which client will send, and server will send the SYNAC, and finally client will send the acknowledgement and connection will get established. Now this attacker is very smart. This is called a SYN flood or SYN attack. What it is doing, it is sending so many SYN packets, because every hardware is having the limitations. They are having session limits. If you will go to the Palo Alto website and you will select particular hardware, and you will come to know how much session this hardware supports. I will show you, if I will be having a time, I will try to show you that. So what is happening here, it is consuming the resources of our firewall. Our firewall is allocating the sessions because this is the default behavior how our firewall is expected to do. Our firewall will allocate the sessions because there is a policy, and the policy is saying that any traffic from outside need to be permitted if it has to go to our server which is placed in the DMZ. Alright, so no available sessions to be allocated. This, our firewall will be having no available session, and it cannot give any more sessions to the new connections. So if there is any legitimate traffic apart from this client, any another person who really want to access the server, somebody is sitting here and he want to access this server, and he want to do some kind of transactions, and if he is sending the traffic here, our firewall will just not allocate the session because it is not having any sessions. Correct. Once there is a timeout, the timeout will expire. I think default is 1 hour for the three-way handshake. It will put that session in the cookies, that is 3600 seconds. So that is a really huge time that will expire. Only then the new request will go. We can also reduce that timer, that is a manual setting, but we are talking here the default behavior. Alright, so let's perform the actions. Okay, this is the next slide, I'll show you later. Let's perform the actions. Let's go here. So this is our hacker. Okay, so I have installed one tool which is called Nmap. Okay, so let me show you the default configuration that I have done. This is the security policy which I have applied. So I have done the netting also. I'll show you the netting which I have done. This is 13 13 13. This is the destination net which I have done. Means if anybody from outside want to access my server, so okay, this is sending the attacks. I just need to stop this and I need to clear the session. Clear session all, show session all. Okay, there is no active session now. Let's try to ping. Okay, now we can ping our server. Let's see the actual destination of the server. So the actual IP address of the server is 172.168.1.20. When the request is going to the firewall, it is getting netted destination net and it will get converted into 172.168.1.20 IP. So actual IP that we have given to outside world is 13 13 13 13. So let's launch a scanner that is called a network scanner. Let's see what that network scanner will do. Even this is not the real IP address of our server, we will see that whether it is able to get the information or not. To get the information, it has to bypass through our firewall because we have created the firewall policy. Alright, directly it cannot go, it cannot get connected. Okay, it has to pass through our firewall. Now the great thing is that even our firewall will see is able to stop that scanning or not. Okay, so I will pause the video till the time because it will take a couple of time. So we have now all the information that Nmap has worked and it has captured so much information. You can see we'll go one by one. So it has the information that these many ports are open. Alright, and if you'll go to topology, it will say this is a local host, there is one hop, and above that hop there is our host. Okay, if we will go here, and so many information is here also. The major information is operating system. I was really very surprised when first time I have run this scan, and I was surprised that even I am hitting to the virtual IP which is not even the real IP, and from there firewall itself is netting it, and we can also come to know the operating system which is running there with the help of that tool. Alright, so there are so many information. You can download this tool and you can perform. Alright, so now we have certain information. We came to know that these ports are open. Now we need a tool which can exploit the attack. Yeah, I was talking that I can show you that number of maximum session that firewall can support. Okay, so there are different hardwares. This is a very big hardware, 7080. Okay, in companies there might be less configuration and cheaper hardware, less costly. I should not say cheaper. So you can see the maximum sessions here are this much maximum sessions it supports. Alright, we'll go down. So from this website you can note down this URL. From this website you can come to know how many sessions any particular device support. Okay, so if attacker is launching attack, it is consuming your resource, it is consuming all the sessions which are there. All right, so now we need to do the protection. First thing that we need to do is, like, attacker is scanning our port, so there is one thing which is called a zone protection, which we can apply to protect our zones. We will apply this policy. This is the policy, zone protection. So zone protection and the DOS protection are having similar functionalities, similar options, like you will see flood protection there also. Okay, about this I will talk later. So there are certain options there. We will select random early drop and we will specify the limit. Okay, if it will be exceeding more than 10 packets, just drop. Okay, alert, we will get the alert at 10, and that will get activated at 13 packets per second, and maximum packets that can go is 15. Alright, so we are going to perform the packet on the SYN, so I will just enable the SYN. This is very important, reconnaissance protection. In reconnaissance attack, what the attacker is doing, attacker is scanning the information. Okay, he is getting the information what TCP ports are open, so he will do TCP port scan, he will do the host scanning, he will do the UDP port scan. Okay, so there are packet based attacks also, like he will spoof the IP address, he will strict IP address. There are a lot of options you can read. Okay, so I will perform the attack on the TCP, so I have selected the TCP options. I just given this name as a zone protect. Clicked OK. We will go to our interfaces, our zones, and we will give this profile to our zone protect. Why I am giving this profile? Because our attacker was scanning our port and I do not want it to scan the port. Okay, just click OK. Click OK. And another thing that you can do, if you go and see my policy, here in policy I have selected services any. We can specify the application and services, that should be specific, not any. So that is another breach. Okay, on which application, on which service port your server is working, you need to apply that only. Okay, we will hit commit here. We have applied the zone protection only. So what zone protection will do, that our attacker cannot scan the ports. Okay, as we need to launch the attack, so let's see what is the open ports. 445 is the open port. Now we need one software. So this is the software. We will type the virtual IP, as attacker is not aware what is the actual IP, so we will just type the virtual IP, which is the public IP, and he will say okay, 445 is the port which is open, and we will also start the ping here. Let's see what will happen. Before showing you that, let me do one thing. I will disable this zone protection also, because our zone protection is also doing the same thing, that is also stopping the attacks, the SYN attacks. If the SYN flood will come, we have restricted that. Okay, so for a moment I will disable that, just to show you without our DOS policy what can happen. Okay, so it is committed successfully. Just start the ping here and launch the attack. You can see I just launched the attack and a packet drops started coming. This is the denial of service. That this is very strong tool and it is sending a lot of SYN packets. You can see packet drop came between, and again I have launched again there is a packet drop. So this is called a DOS, denial of service. It is sending so many packets, so many SYN packets. Okay, now our service is totally down. Let's do one thing, just clear the session, clear session all, and also we just need to stop this attacking tool, clear the sessions again, and our ping will start working. Okay, now we have to apply the policy. We will say that our zone should also be protected, so the traffic is coming from the WAN 2. Now apply the zone protection profile which we have created earlier, and which profile is also blocking the SYN flood. Okay, we will apply the zone protection profile. Now this is the time to touch our DDoS protection. So there is a DDoS protection profile, just enable it and I'll see what are the options there. We will give the name WAN to DMZ. There is a source option in which we have to select the source zone, which is WAN 2, because the traffic is coming from the WAN, and I just said that source is any, because anybody can come from outside to access my destination server. Here would be one server which I will place, and DMZ is the destination. Okay, this is very tricky part. If there are three options, I was searching in the internet about these, but no much detail I can find. If I will put the deny option here, it will deny all the traffic which is matching from WAN to DMZ. Okay, just try that. It is not applying any even I have selected here DDoS protection profile. Okay, we will select none here, just click OK, and we have just denied that rule. Now let's check what that deny will do. Okay, we will stop the ping. Ping is working fine after we have stopped the attack. We have cleared the sessions and it is committed successfully. Let's go back here and try to ping. You can see that ping is stopped. Okay, so that deny means any source to destination, just deny. Okay, so it is working similarly as a security policy, but this is not our concern. If you will deny all the traffic, then no one can come from outside to inside. So if we will allow, this is also not our part. If we will allow the traffic, then also our DDoS policy will not work. So there is option to protect. Okay, why you need to select the DDoS deny? If there is a particular IP, particular source IP you need to block, you just click here and just do the deny. You have no need to touch your security policy. You can do that functionality by going here. Okay, even I will deny and I will select the policy here, it will still deny. I'll show you that what we have selected in our policy. Just go to the DDoS protection, and here there is an aggregate option which I have seen here. Whenever I will click on the aggregate new profile, I cannot select the classified. If I have to create the classified profile, either I can go here or there is another option that I'll show you. From there we can separately select these things and we can create the separate profiles. Okay, so you can define your SYN flood here and you can add a new profile. Okay, just select it, new DDoS aggregate. Okay, we are performing SYN flood. Resource protection is something like you can say that particular aggregate profile which will match this should have only 10 maximum sessions. Just click OK. Okay, now just do the commit. So I was searching in the internet regarding that. What my question was that if I have applied the policy from source to destination and action is denied, so that action will be applicable if it will hit to this new DDoS aggregate, and new DDoS aggregate is saying that there are some of the SYN packets which we have enabled. Okay, if that criteria will match, then only deny the policy, then only deny the traffic. If it will hit to these much sources, then only deny the policy. But you can see that it is still denying. Okay, so we are also having one doubt. I'm having one doubt in my mind. Let's just clear the sessions. I clear the sessions. Now go here and just initiate the ping again, and again we can see that it is denied. So to implement your DOS policy, we only need to select one option, which is protect. Okay, there is a protect option. Deny and allow will just deny and allow the traffic, but just to apply your DOS policy, you need to select aggregate. You need to select protect option. Okay. Now let's do the protect. Click OK, and we'll go here. We'll see our policy. So this is so much packet. We will just define a little bit. At 100 we will get alert, and 120 our policy will get activated, and maximum rate is 130, and after that no packet will be processed. So I was talking about aggregate and classified. Let's discuss about the aggregate and classified. So I have shown you that this will show you the maximum session that any firewall can support. Okay, let's see, there are these much sessions. So when there are so many clients, so these sessions are not enough. If there are 1,000 clients, so these are not enough sessions, and in that case if someone is launching attack, these all will get depleted. All right, so difference between aggregate and classified. Palo Alto DDoS. The limitation with the Palo Alto is that there are very limited documents in Palo Alto. We do not have like they have not explained the things very much. Limited documents are there. Whenever I open anything, they will just give the document. Okay, this is the classified and this is the aggregate. Okay, so I will explain you with example. Let's read that. A classified profile allows the creation of threshold that applies to single source. For example, a maximum session rate per IP can be created for all traffic matching the policy, then block that single IP address once the threshold is triggered. Aggregate profile allows the creation of maximum session rate for all packets matching the policy. It should be bolded. The threshold applies to new session rate for all IPs combined. Once the threshold triggered, it would affect all the traffic matching the profile. It is very difficult to understand this without example. I'll give you one example. So aggregate itself is saying that it is giving the aggregation. In mathematics, we were doing one practical. Suppose there are 10 different numbers. What we were doing, we were just calculating those and dividing with how much they are, right? Suppose they are 10, we will dissolve with the 10. Okay, so that will come as aggregate. So when we are selecting aggregate, and in that aggregate option, suppose for an example there are 5 hosts, host 1 up to host 5, and in my aggregate profile I have given the option, this is aggregate profile, and I have given the option 100 packets. At 120 packets it will get activated, and 130 is the maximum packet. Okay, so for an example I just take 100 packets as the maximum, where it will after that it will get blocked. So it will get divided by the 5 is equal to this divided by 5 is equal to 20. So each host can have only 20 packets. Alright, if there is this host is a hacker and this is launching an attack, and this will consume all the 100 packets, so these will not be able to initiate any new requests. So now you are able to understand that legitimate traffic is even getting blocked with the aggregate. Alright, so we have another option that is called classified. In classified, what we can do is I'll show you here what the definition they have given. Classified profile allows the creation of threshold that applies to single source IP. Okay, so suppose this hacker is having IP address of uh, 10.10.10.1. Okay, so we can define the classified profile if particular source is coming and he is having more packets than what we have defined here in our profile, where our profile is that this profile. Okay, just allow the action as a block. Okay, early drop all the packets. So this profile will not impact these hosts, because these hosts would not be even having a one sessions. Alright, so in classified, this will work on the basis of the source IP. This is more good than that. Classified. Okay, suppose I have created new classified profile. I'll not create from here, just click cancel. Go to the DOS policy, WAN, and we will select here the classified protection. Just say none to it. Classified, click on DOS. The same option you will see here is not the magic that no different things are here, which I will be showing you. Just select the classified profile. Okay, give this in as it should be having 10 packets max, or 100, then 120, then here it should not be 130. And resource, we can give one resource can have maximum of 10 sessions. This is not the ideal value. To get the ideal value, you should see your sessions in the normal scenario, how much session your firewall is producing, creating, and the requirement, your requirement, how much hosts you have. So on the basis of that, you can only select these options. Okay, I'm just getting this only, implementing this only on the basis of our practical. Just click here. Okay, now the question is that how it will select on the basis of different parameters. So here we need to select source IP address only. When I will select the source IP address only, so if this IP address is creating maximum connection, then it will be judged on the basis of the profile which I have created. No matters this is going to any server. Suppose this is going to this server, and then again this is going to this server. Okay, so we have defined limit to this person. A particular source IP, but not that hacker, any source, if that source will have more than the specified limit that we have specified, that 100 packets, then apply the DOS protection rule to that. Means protect that on the basis of it will drop, early drop. Okay, there is another option, that is destination IP only. In destination IP only, we can say that if this our destination will get maximum packet, which will we have defined 120. If suppose 120 is the limit and our server should not get maximum packets, then 120. After that it should be protected. Apply the protect action. Okay, so any host, suppose even this hacker has initiated lot many actions, these have not initiated, but the maximum session has reached to 120, then it will be blocked. Okay, so that is also not useful. The useful thing which I think is that either it should be source IP, but if you will apply the source IP and this is only accessing so many resources in your DMZ, then its value will be finished. If you will apply source destination IP both, then in that case how it will work, this is a attacker and this is continuously sending so many requests to particular server. Okay, so our firewall will match there is something wrong. It is sending continuous packet to same source, not to different sources. Okay, and it has reached to its limit which we have defined in our DOS protection, and at that time it will apply the rule which we have defined as early drop. I'll show you where we have selected the early drop in the DOS protection. If you will go to classified, we have selected here early drop option. Okay, so it will drop, it will start dropping. Let's see now the practical.